I'm the Nature Hacker, and this is your world. So, what I want to talk to you about today is how to make money with your HHO torch. A hydrogen oxygen torch. How to make money with it. What can you do with that little torch to make money? Well, I'm going to tell you that there is an ingredient called tetracalcium phosphate. Tetracalcium phosphate. That is a very expensive ingredient, and I'm going to tell you how to make it right now very cheaply. So here's what you do. You get some tricalcium phosphate, and you get some calcium hydroxide, and you get them in food grade, or better, you know, if you want to get like, I don't know, analytical grade or something like that, but food grade is good enough. You get tricalcium phosphate and you get calcium hydroxide. So what you do is you mix those together. Let's see, maybe try to find out what the percentage is. It's roughly 23%, and I believe that is a good number here. But while I'm looking that up, what you do is you get those two ingredients, you mix them together in a certain ratio, and then you get them wet with minimal amount of water. You can add more powder later if you get it too wet. So 23.86%, 23.86% calcium hydroxide to tricalcium phosphate. So a good thing to do is 23.9 grams of calcium hydroxide, 23.9 grams calcium hydroxide, and 100 grams of tricalcium phosphate. That's 23.9 grams of calcium hydroxide and 100 grams of tricalcium phosphate, both of those food grade. You mix them together, you add some water, you make it into a paste or a putty, then you make little balls out of it. Maybe balls about that big. You just roll them in your fingers, you put them on a plate or something, you know, something that can withstand an oven, and you put that in the oven, bake it at 350 degrees. What you will have is very dry balls. You want them to be very dry, and when you squeeze them in your fingers, they shouldn't break, you know, but you want them to be very dry or else it's going to pop when you go to torch them. So you got those balls. You have to put them in some type of very heat-resistant thing. What I use is a drying dish, one of those porcelain round-bottom dishes. It's a Coors dish. You know, it's made by Coors Company. It's like I don't remember what they're called, but they're called like a drying dish or something like that. And what I do is I put a bunch of that paste at the bottom of, you know, a layer about that thick of just paste on the bottom of that dish, and I put that in the oven along with the balls. Okay, so I get that out. There's a thick layer of hardened stuff on there, so it's going to prevent the heat from cracking our dish. And then I just take one little ball at a time, put it there, and then torch it with my HHO torch until it's thoroughly melted. You know, if you break it open and there's some powder inside, you didn't quite melt it enough. You gotta get it really well melted. And then those little chunks, that's worth money. I mean, I will pay you for those. I use those in my teeth powder on naturehackerproducts.com. What I do is I grind it up and I soak it with some hydrogen peroxide and then dry it up, and that's tetracalcium phosphate peroxide. So that's a very high value added ingredient. And just tetracalcium phosphate, you can get, you know, up to a few dollars a gram of it. So, you know, if you want to sell it, I'm definitely willing to buy it. So, yeah, and each little ball gets you roughly a gram of tetracalcium phosphate. So each one of those can be maybe a couple bucks. So it's definitely worth doing. If you look on eBay, if you look on Alibaba or something, you can see what tetracalcium phosphate sells for. So if you want to make money with your HHO torch, you're going to want that. And if you want to make it for me using, you know, food grade ingredients, contact me at naturehackerproducts@gmail.com and I will buy it from you. You know, if the price is fair, I'll buy it. If not, you know, we'll negotiate. But let's see if you can make some money with your HHO torch. Thanks for watching. I am the Nature Hacker. Let's do work.